granted a stay by a judge, depending on certain personal terms, they could then apply for sponsorship and be reunited with their kids. But as we've seen before, that can be a lengthy legal process, Fred.
All right, Boris Sanchez at the White House, thanks so much. All right, here with me now, CNN political commentator and former head of President Trump's Hispanic Advisory Council, Steve Cortes, and CNN political commentator and former communications director for Immigration and Naturalization Services, Maria Cardona. Good to see you both.
Hey, Frederica.
Okay, Steve, you first. The Trump administration has this plan to reunite immigrant families. Do you feel confident about it?
Well, yes, look, it'll be a difficult process, but here's the thing. The best way for when you say immigrant families, by the way, it's important to say illegal immigrant families. That's a very, very important adjective to add in there. Immigrant families have never been separated. Illegal immigrant families have been separated, and I would say separated for a very good reason. Why? Because their parents, unfortunately, or guardians, a lot of cases they're not parents, decided to commit a crime with children in tow. Much like an American committing a crime with children in tow, you get separated from your children.
Okay, but it isn't that cut and dry, though, because you do have some people who are seeking political asylum, and so breaking the law isn't really the definition for them when they are seeking asylum, because the U.S. has been engaged in that law that allows someone to come to seek asylum. But let's just talk about what is happening. It is accurate, actually.
No,
it is accurate. But let's talk about what is at hand here.
Frederica, it's not accurate. If you show up to a port of entry in the United States with your children and request asylum lawfully, you are not separated from your family.
No, but if you're making your case about asylum, some of these people haven't even had a chance to make their case about asylum before they're being separated.
Right.
But
because
it is legal to state your case trying to seek asylum by coming to the border. So that's not necessarily breaking the law.
You have to come to a checkpoint, raise your hand, say, I'm here for asylum. You can't sneak across the border, then say once you're caught, oh, I meant to apply for asylum. It's just not correct.
So the guidelines that have been set out thus far that say an adult must be processed, and whether they're deported, you know, they may be connected with their child if the child has been, you know, connected to them.
Are women on the right who work for the president treated more unfairly than those on the left? Here to debate is Fox News contributor Jessica Tarloff, who is the senior director of research for Bustle.com, and the communications director for Turning Point USA, Candace Owens. Good morning, ladies. Good to have you with us.
Good morning, Abby.
I think we can all agree that things have gotten ugly. It has become so hateful. It's become so divisive. Candace, is there a double standard with women on the right, you think?
Of course there's a double standard. I mean, it's incomprehensible and indefensible, and anybody with a modicum of decency will admit that what's going on here is wrong. I can't even fathom a world where Obama's daughters are threatened with pedophilia by somebody in Hollywood in the same week that someone in his administration is kicked out of a restaurant with 7 members of their family just for wanting to eat. We would never hear the end of the claims of racism. This would not be allowed whatsoever, and it should not be allowed just because this is Donald Trump's administration.
Jessica, your response?
My response is that there are 2 issues at play here. There's the civility issue, which is what happened here with Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and I personally don't think that she should have been thrown out of the restaurant. I think you can have a conversation with someone about the beliefs and what this administration is doing without denying them service. We don't deny service to people for immutable characteristics. We can legally on the basis of political affiliation, but I don't think it was constructive and it hurts the debate. The other side to the issue is the fact that Republican women want to be deemed feminists, and they want to have the same kind of clout as women on the left who are actually advocating for policies that help women, whereas the policies out of this administration actually hurt them, like refusing to raise.
Women that work for the president, they wouldn't say that. They would say actually the opposite. They would say that we believe in these issues and we feel like they help women.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want, but the statistics don't lie. We know that if you raise the minimum wage, 2/3 of people in this country on the minimum wage are women. They need that help. We know that there is assault on women's health care rights from this administration, things like that.
Jess, please, I hate this selective feminism that we hear on the left all the time, okay? Well, don't make this a feminism issue, because it's not a feminism issue.
But it is,
you're going out and attacking women, I'm not done, okay? When you're going out and attacking women, you are not a feminist. This is not defensible whatsoever. And you sit here and you say this because you care about mothers. The basis of this is that people are upset that illegal immigrants are being separated from their mothers. Why don't you refocus some of that energy to the black community? They've been having their families separated. In fact, it's subsidized in the black community. You appreciate single motherhood. You are giving more money to families for fatherless absence. So all of this selective fake outrage when you guys do not have the same defenses for the black community is really lost on me, and it's time's up on this altogether. I think the black community has had enough of you guys being selectively outraged for parents of illegal immigrants, but not for the parents of the black community who have been separated from their family for about 6 decades.
All right,
now.
and ladies, I just want to point out, ladies, I just want to point out, let's keep this civil. As I opened up this segment, there is already so much hate, indecency in this country, so let's just keep this debate a debate and keep it civil. Jessica, your response.
I believe I was keeping it civil, and then Candace told me that I wasn't a feminist. I also believe that Candace doesn't speak for the entire.
I said the left. I didn't say you, Jessica, so don't make it personal. I said the left. It's selective feminism on the left that we're seeing.
I disagree with you, and I'm going to do that politely. I'm going to return to my original argument, which is that we have heard this for years, that Kellyanne Conway, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and all the women who work for this president and support his agenda aren't getting their due. They're not getting their due from the feminist community because they're advocating for policies that hurt women, that keep them in a bad economic position, that don't allow them to live equally in this society.
Can I ask you this, Jessica?
Yeah, same for the black women.
Do you think that Kirstjen Nielsen should be harassed because of her position and because of what is going on with immigration? Do you think because of that she deserves to be treated the way that she does? She was essentially forced out of a Mexican restaurant, protesters in there. You may disagree with her, but do you think the way she's been treated is fair?
I think that what Kirstjen Nielsen did in initially coming out and lying about what this president's policy did, then having to backtrack on it, puts her in a very tenuous position.
That wasn't my question, though.
I think that people should have civil conversations about it and certainly have every right as a public official to come up to her table and to call her out on her lies and this administration's lies. If she wants to leave because of it, that's on her.
Right.
But she should be open to that dialogue with the American public who is dissatisfied.
Candace, very quickly,
this is a very slippery slope. The left should stop this, because then you're basically saying that in the future this is going to be allowed in administrations that you do support. And as I said, the selective outrage for illegal families, when this has been going on in the black community, no one talks about the fathers that are separated, the fathers that are behind bars, the fathers that are buried on the south side of Chicago and in Baltimore. So again, this is completely, to me, seems like fake outrage, and I don't support it whatsoever.
That's why President Obama had his father